If you've ever wanted a healthy, supportive, playful relationship, but don't really feel like you know yourself fully yet, listen up. This episode is for you. All you have to do is learn how to fill up your own cup.
That is not my cup.
Mine is filled with
chaos.
Wait, am I seeing dead people?
I release who no longer texts me back.
You just need to stop dating people, and you need to date yourself.
My name is Emilio.
And I'm Rachel.
And we are the Relationship Renegades.
And at Relationship Renegades, our mission here is to co-create a world where healthy, happy, harmonious relationships are the new norm.
All right, today we're going to be dissecting our episode/comedy sketch, Date Yourself.
You want me to date myself?
Yes.
We should all be dating ourselves.
Oh.
Huh?
And this is probably one of the top themes of Relationship Renegades. And I think one of the most important themes in the world, in society, what people need to hear right now. If you're currently dating or if you're in a relationship right now and you're wondering, why am I attracting or being in the same relationship over and over and over? Stop it. Stop dating. Stop doing that. Trust me, we've all done it, okay? But what really needs to happen is you need to be dating yourself, and we're going to tell you why.
Yeah, I love that he brought that up. Now, if you haven't seen the episode, pause this and go watch it right now. And if you have, drop it in the comments of what your favorite scene was, or maybe what one of your favorite one-liners was. You know, we got to shoot this with some of our best friends and fellow super talented filmmakers and actors and actresses, Boston and Rennie, who I also actually made another film with called Alien Country. We love them so much. Also,
cool.
one of our best friends, Jonah, and also Sharon. And they're hilarious in this episode. And
So funny.
each of our characters are literally going on this journey to figure out what it feels like to actually date ourselves. And you'll see throughout the episode that each of us are trying and maybe failing at trying these new things.
I can't stress this enough. We can't stress this enough. You attract who you are. Okay? You see what you are.
I am brave. I am strong. I am lovable.
And at first, this is a very hard pill to swallow. This is the red pill happening right now. So if you want to take the red pill, like in the Matrix, go for it. If you don't want to take it, you want to stick with the blue pill, totally fine. Not a right or wrong situation here. You can live whatever life you want. But if you want that deep, healthy, happy, harmonious relationship, if you want that peaceful, playful, fully alive relationship, what we call a higher love at Relationship Renegades, it requires to look within. It requires some of the deep inner work that we often talk about throughout all the things that we do. And so once again, you attract who you are. And so if you're not going within and changing things, then you're going to keep attracting the same person. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Okay. And so it's time to really go within, date yourself, see what you like.
A whole cheese pizza. Just for me.
Because a lot of times, if you don't know yourself, how do you expect someone else to know you, right? And Rachel's going to kind of drop into that here in a bit, but it's about, if you've ever played with tuning forks, okay? And if you haven't, I'll just quickly describe it. It looks like this with a little fork at the end. And when you hit the tuning fork, it vibrates. And let's just say there's tuning forks from A to Z. Let's just call them A, B, and C. If I have tuning forks A, B, and C here, and there's tuning forks A, B, and C in a whole nother room, if I strike that tuning fork A and it starts to vibrate, it's vibrating at a certain frequency, okay? Guess what happens to tuning fork A in the other room? It automatically starts to vibrate. This is a universal law. This is the law of resonance. And if you look at, lots of experts out there, like Tesla, for instance, he talked about one of his famous quotes that if you want to know the secrets of the universe, which is you, which is all of us, which is society, think in terms of frequencies, energies, and vibrations. That's what we are. The reason why I bring up the whole tuning fork is because if I am, let's say, if I don't think I'm good enough, or if I don't feel like I have enough, or if I feel like I'm better than, let's just call those tuning forks. So let's say I don't feel like I'm good enough deep down inside. Right? And by the way, I used to be an independent consultant, financial analyst, doing big things in the world, making a lot of money. So on the outside, people thought, oh, wow, this guy's got it together. But it was a performative masculine. It was because I was doing that because I didn't feel good enough. And so I had the tuning fork, I'm not good enough. And so when I showed up in the world, because this is all frequencies, energies, and vibrations, I was attracting people that also felt that they weren't good enough. And so, we attracted each other. And it wasn't until I healed that wound, I healed that trauma, I healed that tuning fork, I'm not good enough, right? As soon as I went within, dated myself, figured out like, oh my gosh, I have that. I didn't realize I had that. And then when I healed that, guess what? I didn't attract people that deep inside thought that they weren't good enough as well. And so we're going to kind of go back and forth and start to really dive into this, but it's important to date yourself so you can figure out, what do I like? What do I don't like? What lights me up? What drains me? What tuning forks do I have inside of me? Right? And start to heal those so that they're removed, right? Because then you start to when you start to remove all those things, you really start to find out your true self, your higher self that's vibrating super high, this person you've always were. And then you start to attract that in life. Holy moly. This is what we talk about in the episode. If you remember Sharon's character, this is about if you're a half cup, meaning you're not filling up your cup, you're not dating yourself, you're not loving yourself, you're not finding what makes you feel fully alive, because this is your life and it's passing by. Like, you should be doing you. There's so many people that are giving, but they're not giving to themselves. And so if you're a half cup in that sense, you are going to be attracting half cup relationships. But if you start to do the work and date yourself, and in a funny analogy, fill up your cup to whether it's full and overflowing.
You're pathetic.
No, he's full.
Overflowing, actually.
Then you're a full cup attracting full cup relationship. So we say this from the bottom of my heart. This is literally one of my biggest breakthroughs. This is one of the reasons how I was able to attract Rachel, the love of my life, finally.
I know for me, it was also one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had, because my pattern in relationships was I would always I wanted love so bad that I felt like I would almost do anything. And it wasn't necessarily conscious, but it was just like, oh, this is just, it was almost like a reactive behavior. And so if I was in a relationship with a guy, if they wanted to do something, I kind of just was like, I just started being whoever I thought they wanted me to be so that they wouldn't leave me or that they would love me. And I had to learn the really hard way that never ends well. And I started feeling like, gosh, I don't even know who I am anymore. And then I would go through these really, really soul-crushing breakups where I just felt so lost, so depressed, so confused, and feeling like, why do I just keep attracting the same or very similar situations? Even though they were different guys, it just felt like it always had like similar themes, similar patterns. And when I really learned this tool of, I got to go and like date myself. I got to go figure out who I am and what I want and what I don't want and what I like and what I don't like, and be able to say that in a relationship and not feel this fear of, if I don't agree with everything they do or like everything that they like, that they're just not going to like me. And if they don't like me, then that's okay. Then that's actually a great filtration system. Emilio and I talk about all the time. It's like, let people show you who they are.
Yeah.
And learn it fast. And if the more you know who you are, you can also show people who you are and how you want to be. One of my favorite quotes is that we teach people how we want to be treated by the way we show up. So if we're just showing up and everything's fine and we don't really have any boundaries and we don't really have any opinions or thought, then people just are be like, oh, that's just who they are. They don't really care. But you might care deeply, but unless you're saying something about it, unless you have the strength and the self-awareness to know, then nobody else is going to know either. So I think this principle is just so important.
I think it's so important. There's a lot of people who don't know themselves, because they're just going through life on autopilot, and they haven't spent time with themselves. They're maybe scared to spend time with themselves. I certainly was that person.
It's scary.
I was like, whether it was times where I was doing the work and there was plant medicine offerings going on. I was like, I don't want to see what my consciousness is. I didn't want to do some deep inner work because I didn't want to face some of the things because I was scared, to be alone. And, there was a point where I hit rock bottom all of 2015, all of 2016. And during that time was when I had to look the man in the mirror more than ever and spend a lot of time with myself for those 2 years.
I love not having a woman in my life. You're the only company I need.
And I was very humbling experience, long story short, for another time. But I got to really be quiet and be still and face those sides of me and just really feel those things. And here's the thing, when you feel those feelings, you start to integrate them into your nervous system. And when you integrate that, another sort of word for that is to release it also, and also become who you've always wanted to become. And so by feeling those things, your nervous system starts to change. And you're really attracting what your nervous system is. Because you can say affirmations, you can say, I know what I want, this is what I'm doing, I'm gonna do it. But your nervous system still feels a certain way.
Yeah.
Your nervous system is what's attracting things.
Yes.
And so that's where the work comes into play. And so when you start to really date yourself, and by doing that, it's like, you're like, okay, well, maybe you're open to receiving more and seeing like, oh, I'm going to listen. Maybe I'll listen to more Relationship Renegades comedy sketch shows, or maybe I'll do some of their experiences or tools. We have a trigger translator tool. You have to check that out. We'll tell you about it later. Or all these things. And then you're like, oh, maybe I'll read this book. Maybe I'll go to this experience. Maybe I'll go to this event. Maybe I'll go to this conference. Maybe I'll do some plant medicine. Maybe I'll do some breath work or meditation, what have you. And then you start to really like spend time with yourself. Because when you start to do that, then you're like, man, I'm like this type of person. And then you want to show that in the world. You're like, oh, you want to become more authentic. But then here's the thing though. We have this quote actually in our living room. It's our main quote. And it says, because this is what most people do. It's what we used to do. Like Rachel was talking about her relationship. Don't change so people will like you. Don't do that. A lot of people just change so people like them, right? Like I also created an avatar of what I thought this person was going to love, right? Because I read it in the magazines. I saw it in the movies. I saw it in TV shows. Like, oh, this is like the cool guy. Physically, mentally, emotionally, this is what he says. This is what he does. He's got the car. He's got the house. He's got the job. This is what he does. Like that's what women want, right? No, it's an avatar. They're falling in love with someone that's not you. And then when you start to finally show yourself, they're like, who is this? And so I think it's very important to like, don't change so people will like you. Be yourself, and the right people will love you.
And poof, and hi-da, and
the right people will love you. And that's how Rachel came in. Everything that I used to do in other relationships that didn't like the things or what I said, what I did, my traits, my habits, all the things, Rachel loved them. And I'm loud and I talk with my hands and I'm ridiculous. And some people like put that down and suppress that for lots of reasons. And Rachel
and I was like,
those.
I love that. I love that you're so animated. I love that you're so playful, like more. And so, I think it's such a game changer when you really get that quote. Don't change so people will like you. Be yourself and the right people will love you. And have the courage and confidence that is built over time. I mean, so much of courage and confidence is a practiced behavior. We become what we repeatedly do all the time. So if you are making the courageous decision to spend more time with you, to figure out what lights you up and to go do more of it. Because we're such funny creatures. Like even though something might bring us joy, oftentimes there might be resistance to it for some weird reason. And the resistance might be a lot of different things going on, but one of them might just be that it's just because you're not used to doing it. And anything you're not used to doing just feels uncomfortable. And so if it does feel scary for you to be like, and by the way, this is for people who are still looking for their partner, as well as if you're in a relationship. It's so important to still take time for you.
Oh, we do that all the time.
A rule in our relationship, and we feel like it's a great rule for all healthy relationships. It is, I know it's my job to make me happy. And it's Emilio's job to make him happy.
Yeah.
A lot of times in relationships, you can, if you don't keep dating yourself throughout the relationship, you can lose yourself. And then you start being codependent on the other person, and you start like not living a life that you really want to live. And then you're coming half full and you're wondering why you're not fulfilled in the relationship. And so, the big challenge we want to challenge everybody today with is to date yourself. Can you take one time this week, take yourself on a date? What might light you up? Is it taking yourself to a movie? Is it taking yourself on a hike? Is it taking yourself to an art class or ice skating or roller skating? Like
trying something new,
whatever that thing is, and going and doing it. And drop it in the comments. Like if you know what you want to go do, drop it in there. If you've ever experienced dating yourself before, any takeaways, any ahas, or if you're scared to and you're like, hey, I need some help and support, please let us know. We are here to help and support you.
Yes.
And also know if you are looking for your person or even just new friends, new tribe, those people that you're looking for are probably doing that thing that lights you up.
Yeah, if you love to dance, your person is on the dance floor.
Yes.
If you like to do wellness things, they're probably in wellness activations and wellness circles.
Yes.
If you're a person that, all those things. So just kind of think about that. A lot of times we're just kind of going through the normal routine of going to the bar or going here or that and the other. And it's like changing things up. I know I had to completely recreate myself / find myself when I had finished up that rock bottom that happened. And I want to just kind of like chat real quick because I want to be able to not only give some practical tools that we're giving right now, but this is just such a near and dear thing because it was the biggest breakthrough of mine. If you want to know the full version, drop it on the comment. I can provide you the story, the full version. But the short of it is this. I grew up in domestic violence, dad very abusive to my mom. So all 18 years of my life growing up, I would always want to help and save women, right? My mom, my sister from crying from my dad. And that got embedded in my nervous system. So as I started to attract relationships in my life, I was always thinking I needed to save women in all different shapes and forms and ways, with money, with shelter, with just doing everything for them and not ever thinking about myself. It was always about them, always about them, always about them. And people who go through similar situations where they had to survive as a child, they will disassociate, just do everything they can do to get by, compartmentalize things, and just so they can get by and survive. I didn't realize that I was running on survival mode the entire time. I didn't realize that I was just wanting to like give. On the outside, it looked great. This guy's a giver. This guy's amazing. He shows up fully. But I wasn't doing that for me. And that's important. Life, there's the yin and the yang, the up and the down, the in and the out. If you're just living on one side, like we grew up Christian values. There's a lot of Christians here in Utah. Like it's great that people give, but make sure you're also giving to yourself, making sure that there's both sides of the coin, the yin and the yang, okay? And so how much are you giving to yourself in a beautiful, healthy, selfish way? People think that's selfish, but no, it's in the healthy side of things. And so long story short, after the 10,000th toxic relationship, it got stacked for me. And it got to a point where like I couldn't break up with this woman. There was red flags 3 weeks in. It took me 3 years to break up.
I want people to hear that, by the way. I've had those same situations. Like when you know at the beginning of a relationship that this is not good for you, but you stay in it for years, trying to get out all the time, but just not being able to. I've also been there. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But if you've been there or you're there, again, we see you, we feel you, we love you.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things.
Yeah, totally. And Sharon, the character in our comedy show.
I have been ghosted so many times. I should become a paranormal investigator. What are you doing? Why are you doing what you're doing?
You have bad juju. I'm saging you. Keep talking. I'm listening.
He's going through that. And we try to help him to date himself, right?
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it, check it out. And if you have seen it, please drop a little bit on the comment about what your favorite scene or character was. We'd love to hear. But, back to my story, it's like, it took me 3 years. And finally, and it got stacked. She didn't have any friends, didn't have any relationship with her family. She was doing a lot of drugs and alcohol. I was paying for everything. I was housing her. I was just doing everything for her. And I also actually, this is a little severe, but it was true, caught her twice trying to hang herself in the bathroom. So it got to a point where like, there's no way I can break up with her. There's no way I can choose myself. Like I have to keep like making sure she's all right and making sure I save her. Long story short, I was dying in the relationship. My soul was dying. It was getting very bad. We were fighting every single day. Bad. I finally, this was back maybe 28 years of my life, was just like not choosing myself. And the pot was boiling. It was ruining my entire life and everything that I touched in my life. And when I finally said, look, I can't do this anymore. We need to break up. It was a while on how that unraveled and how that came to be, but we did that. And it ended up being the biggest breakthrough, not only for myself, but for her. I saw her a year and a half later. Her whole world had changed. Me causing her pain or breaking up with her was the biggest blessing of her entire life. Pain is your number one teacher, at least it can be. It was for her, it was for me. We were enabling each other, and it allowed us to actually go on our journey to heal ourselves and to date ourselves and to find out everything we've been talking about on this episode. And so,
yeah, I think it's just so important. I think it's so special that one, he did get to see her a year later, and he did get to see her in this healthy relationship. She was glowing. She was a yoga teacher. She completely transformed her whole life. And I think I love that story so much because so many times we think we need to be the one to save people. And it's coming from we think a good place, but if we really look super honestly at that, it's kind of ego-y, to be like, oh, they need me. I have to save them. When really they don't. They need they need to go through their journey.
Yeah.
And we all need to go through our journey. So sometimes, and I've had to learn this the hard way too, of just like, sometimes the biggest blessing, like Emilio said, it's always, you have to choose you. You have to love on you. And the more you love on you, the more you'll be able to see things clearly, and it will help the other person also be able to figure out what it really means for them to love themselves.
Yeah. And I want to draw just a quick parallel. is your life will change. The trajectory of the way that your life will change is directly correlated to the amount of love that you're willing to give yourself and receive.
Yes.
The amount that you can give yourself love and receive love, which a lot of times is the hardest thing for us to do. The amount that you can do that is the amount that your life will change.
Yes.
Seriously. It's another universal law that we can break down later, but I found out, and when I started to fill my cup up and I was a full cup, I started to attract full cup relationships in business. I'm talking about seriously the next day, business calls, opportunity calls, new friendships that I was in Austin, Texas at the time, inviting me to different places and different circles and different experiences. And then next thing you know, about a year and a half later, Rachel just fell into my lap. She just appeared when I was doing an activation in LA, and the rest is history. Here we are 8 years later. And it's been the most beautiful ride of my entire life, but it started by filling up my cup. It started with dating myself. It started with loving myself fully. So we hope that you can do the same. Comment if there's any challenges, if there's any roadblocks, if anything that we can help with our tools, experiences, our events, our transformational media. This is what we live for. So let us know how we can help. Let us know how your journey is. Let us know what you're going to do to date yourself. Comment below. We'd love to continue to be a part of the tribe to help each other out.
Yes, because this isn't just about us. This is a community, a movement that we're building, and we want to hear from you. We love reading through the comments and seeing any quotes, any questions, any challenges, any struggles, any ahas that you guys have, and really here to help support you. And if you do feel stuck or frustrated or just need a little bit more support on your relationship journey, we have so many free new tools on our website, relationshiprenegades.com. We even have a really cool new trigger translator. So basically, anytime you're feeling triggered, AKA any sort of uncomfortable emotion that you might have, even if you start dating yourself, you're like, oh, I feel uncomfortable. I don't know why. And I don't know what to do about it. Just go to our app. It's a completely free tool. It's our trigger translator. And it'll walk you through and help you uncover what's really going on, help you release maybe the root of why it's happening so it doesn't keep happening, and help you be the person you've always wanted to be. So we love you guys. We can't wait to hear from you, and we'll see you on the next episode.